not morbidly obese, but you can be chubby and healthy. So think be healthy, not be skinny. Previously, where if you're eating weird junk food, it doesn't matter if you eat a little bit, you probably will still put on extra fat and you'll lose muscle. Hey guys, it's Hampton from Hybrid Calisthenics. Welcome to our video on how to lose weight. One of the biggest topics in all of health and fitness, and I'm just going to casually tackle it while I drink some coffee. Which, to be fair, and I want credit for this, I took notes, and I never do that. I hardly did it in college. And I've been thinking about this for a while, and I wanted to put a unique spin on it, because if someone came up and they asked me, I want to lose some chub, I want to lose some weight, I would just tell them, well, do intermittent fasting and practice calisthenics. I mean, does that surprise anyone that I would suggest calisthenics? I named my business channel and page Hybrid Calisthenics, so it shouldn't be any surprise. And as far as intermittent fasting goes, I mean, yeah, that's basically saying exercise and nutrition. You know, everyone knows that. Even people who aren't in fitness knows that you have to eat right and exercise to lose weight. But yet a lot of people are still overweight and they're not happy with how they look and how they feel. So I want to give some alternative ideas that may not be talked about as much, because just diet and exercise, you can find millions of videos of that on YouTube, on the Google, wherever. The first point that I want to bring up, and I will get into diet and exercise, the first point that I want to bring up is the most important one, so I'm going to bring it up first. So if you take nothing away from this video, I want you to take this, and that is that if you're thinking that you want to lose weight, please, instead of thinking that, think, how do I be healthy? Instead of thinking, how do I lose weight, think, how can I be healthy? Because if you're healthy, then how you look on the outside, that reflects how you are on the inside. So if you're healthy and everything's working well, okay, even if you have some extra chub, that will disappear soon. So if you focus on being healthy, the weight loss will come. And it's also important to think this, because if we think how to lose weight and we think about the outside and we think about, oh, well, I don't look good in a bikini, I don't look good in a swimsuit. That's how things, and not everyone goes this way, but that's how things like anorexia and bulimia pop up. And these things are bad and they kill people. Here's one of the things that separate my fitness page from other people's. How many videos have I done shirtless? Compared to the other fitness pages where they're shirtless just by default. It's not because I like clothing. Okay, let me tell you, I don't like clothing. My ideal life is something where I run around in a loincloth, swinging from trees and eating berries. I don't know why I'm that way. I just am. I don't like clothing, but I put it on because like I don't like how look-based the fitness industry is, where it's like, yeah, this guy is buff, this girl is lean, and you know, like she has a big butt, and you know, like her arms are toned. That stuff is cool, but that should reflect how we are on the inside, not on the outside. By the way, this video is going to be a little bit more long form because I really want to delve into the things, in case you can't tell. And also, if we think about how to be healthy, we focus on fixing the inside, as opposed to how to lose weight, we think about fixing the outside. And if we fix the inside, there's two parts to that. There's a metaphorical and there's a literal part. The literal part is, so my father practiced Chinese medicine as long as I've known him. And he would always tell me when I was a kid that a lot of people aren't fat, they're swollen. You know, and you can look at that in a like Western medicine will look at that differently. But we've proven that if we eat a bunch of weird chemicals, that if our body doesn't know how to digest them, it turns them into fat. Even if you're not eating as many calories as like me, I eat a tremendous amount of calories. But if you're eating a bunch of junk food, and like there's all these, you know, I don't really like the idea that if you can't pronounce it, don't eat it, because dihydrogen monoxide is water, and you know, I just had trouble pronouncing that. But the principle stands to where if it's a weird chemical and it's not something that's found in nature necessarily, and you ingest it all the time, your body will turn it into fat because it doesn't know how to digest it. So that's the literal part. If your digestion is all messed up, you're probably not going to be as lean as you want unless you're very young, and that's not going to last very long. And the second part is the metaphorical thing, if you want to fix what's metaphorically wrong inside of you. And that is, it's no secret that in modern society, you can blame it on social media or whatever, that a lot of people are depressed or anxious, and these things absolutely affect weight loss. I mean, I could list off a bunch of reasons, but I mean, first of all, if you're depressed, you're sedentary, and you don't want to move, and I mean, some people would argue that subconsciously you want to develop a physical appearance where you're warding off other people, not necessarily by being fat, but also just by being unhappy and you don't want to talk with other people. These are obviously fairly extreme cases, but they're pretty common. And fixing depression is not something I can tackle in the same video that I'm telling you how to lose weight. But I think if you focus on the other parts of the list that I'm going to give, everything's holistic and it'll work. And of course, I should mention that exercise has been shown to be just as effective, if not more, as antidepressants for curing depression. Exercise is definitely good if you're depressed. So look up my other videos where I'm showing you calisthenics. Look up other videos where you're exercising. Just get out and do things. It's pretty hard for me to put on weight. All right. I know that makes a lot of people very angry. I'm sorry, but the stuff that I'm going to mention will help you out. And one of the reasons I'm this way is, yes, it's genetics, but also my metabolism is very quick. It's very, very fast, and my hormones are regulated, and both are from my lifestyle. And that leads me into the next point. And number 2 is that hormones and metabolism are the name of the game. A lot of people are bound into calorie counting, where they say, if you want to lose weight, you have to eat at a caloric deficit. Or if you want to gain weight, you have to eat at a caloric surplus. It means you have to, if you want to lose weight, you have to take in less than you're spending. And that is true, but again, I'm bouncing off what I said previously, where if you're eating weird junk food, it doesn't matter if you eat a little bit, you probably will still put on extra fat and you'll lose muscle. So you're probably losing weight, but not in a healthy manner. And if you are older than your teens and you're watching this, and if you're a guy, there was a time around when you're 12, 13, around when you were about to hit puberty, to where you were still eating junk food, you were still playing Xbox or Nintendo or whatever, but over that summer, you suddenly had some muscle, and then you didn't notice at the time because you were skinny, but you also lost some weight. And it's because you were going through puberty and your hormones, your testosterone was going way up, and that was helping you put on muscle and lose weight, even though you weren't living like a healthy lifestyle. You couldn't do that now. You'd be a tub of lard. Same for women. As men and women get older, we tend to lose muscle and put on some fat. That's because our metabolism slows down and our hormones are messed up. So yes, caloric surpluses and caloric deficits do play an important role in whether we want to lose weight or gain weight. But also the focus on things that regulate your hormones and increase your metabolism. For example, this could be rest. This could be exercising. This could be some breathing exercises. This could be cold showers. Again, that's more complex than this video will encompass. But focus on metabolism and hormones and not just calories. You'll probably have an advantage over your friends who aren't focusing on that. Number 3, calisthenics. I know I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but it has to be said. I'm a big fan of calisthenics, of course. But why do I mention calisthenics instead of just exercise? Well, we get into I'm going to mention some anecdotal evidence here and just some theories. And I mean, if you don't want to take it, you can take the other parts of this video and just ignore this part. But I think it's true, where first of all, the culture of calisthenics is different than the culture of, say, weightlifting, where like you look at a lot of calisthenics athletes, and they're very thin, whereas there are some people who practice weightlifting and they're very good at it and they can lift a ton of weight, but they have both muscle and fat. And I think the culture of that is you train big, you eat big, you sleep big, which is good. But I mean, if you're just wanting to lose weight and be lean, calisthenics seems to have an advantage over that. And my theory on that, and you can take it or leave it, is that our body adapts to what we want to do. So first of all, if you want, if your body thinks all you want to do is sit in front of the TV and eat potato chips and reach for the remote control, it gives you a great body for that. I mean, when you're chubby, you have a lot of relaxation room. You know, you're built for comfort, not speed, as my friend Carrie Chisholm would say. But if you want to lift yourself, which is what calisthenics is, if you're doing pull-ups, for example, your body recognizes that shedding fat is good for that. You know, if you're doing push-ups and you're heavy, and your body recognizes that you can lose fat, and you become better at that, then you're forcing your body to adapt to become more efficient at that exercise. Why that's different in weightlifting is that you actually have a benefit, even if it's not just muscle, from having some extra weight inside you. I'm not talking like being morbidly obese, but if you have some extra weight on you, even if it's fat and you're bench pressing or you're squatting, the extra leverage actually helps you lift that weight. So weightlifting, different culture, and also your body adapts in a different way than if you're doing calisthenics. Number 4, intermittent fasting. This is very popular. You probably have heard of it to some degree, so I'm going to cover it pretty quickly. Basically, you leave a window of time in your day where you don't eat, and there's a smaller window where you do eat. For example, let's say you go to bed at 11 p.m. and your last meal where you eat dinner is 9 p.m. So you eat, don't eat any snacks. You can have some water, okay? And if you leave a 15-hour window, you don't eat until noon the next day. So that's a 15-hour window where you don't eat, and a 9-hour window where you do eat. So anywhere between noon and 9 p.m. that night, you can eat. That's the idea of intermittent fasting, and it bounces off the idea of hormones and metabolism, because it does seem to supercharge testosterone, which is your hero if you want to lose weight, and it increases your metabolism. And my last point is the one that's most out there. It's the most abstract, but it can also, and that's why I saved it for last, because I didn't want anyone to be turned off by it, because I don't want anyone to think I'm just being vague and not giving practical advice. But this is one of the it's one of the most helpful, so do think on it and try to apply it, and I think it can help you a lot. And so let me begin with a story. A good friend of mine, her father, unfortunately a couple years ago, had a heart attack, and he survived. But like, I was real worried, she was real worried, all his family, that they were all worried about him. And you know, I sat down with her and I said, well, what can we do to help him? So we sat on our phones for hours and we Googled smoothie recipes, because he worked all the time, and that was the thing. He was a very active person, but he just had to grab some food and go. So we looked up ways we could prepare quick meals for him, and we actually learned a lot about nutrition and recipes and exercise, you know, stuff that I didn't even know. And here's the thing, all that information was readily available on our phones anytime we wanted it. But through our entire lives, we didn't look it up until he had his heart attack. And as a result, we both eat more healthily. As a result, we're both applying that knowledge and using it to better our own lives. And it started because of someone else. Everyone's focused on themselves, but if we see another person that may be worse than us or in a similar position, and we think, how can we help this person? So in this case, it would be health and weight loss. then something happens in our brain to where we try to provide for them, especially if it's for someone we love. So we may be biologically wired to care for people we love more than ourselves. I'm not sure. But I just know that when we think about others and we think about how can we serve this person, stuff happens. When we create and provide and serve others, stuff happens. So that's the video. I mean, I may have to make multiple videos on how to lose weight. Obviously, it's a huge topic. Let me recap. One is be healthy, not be skinny, because that can lead to a lot of problems. And you can actually be kind of chubby and still be healthy. I know that's probably a controversial opinion, but you can. For example, me. If I live the same lifestyle I do now, but I just eat a ton of food, not junk food, I just eat a lot more of the stuff I'm eating, I would put on fat. Not morbidly obese, but you can be chubby and healthy. So be healthy, not be skinny. Number 2, hormones and metabolism. Focus on things that regulate your hormones and increase your metabolism, because your calories do matter, but if you think about hormones and metabolism and you think about your teenage years, exercise and diet are only part of the equation. You have to focus on other things. And if you focus on hormones and metabolism, you will have an advantage in losing weight. 3, calisthenics. The idea of calisthenics is that you have to lift yourselves up and down. And if you have less weight, if you have less fat, you are more efficient at doing that. And I believe your body will adapt. Number 4, intermittent fasting. You eat only during a window of the day. 5, help others. When we serve others, this applies to so much stuff. When we serve others, stuff seems to happen. I don't know why. If we instead of thinking, how can I lose weight? How can I better myself? How can I be healthy? If we see someone else, a friend of ours perhaps, and we think, how can we help them? Oftentimes we end up helping ourselves. I should mention, don't go up to a stranger and say, hey stranger, you seem to be pretty fat. Let me help you out. And if you do that, don't tell them I told you to do that, because I don't want the lawsuit and the hate mail. Pick someone you love and try to help them out. That's the video. That's my video on how to lose weight hybrid calisthenics style. My name is Hampton. If you like this post, please like and share it so others might benefit. If you like what I'm about, please follow the page. I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh wait,